Matchmaker line, Delmarva's Legacy Running Store, Wycomico County Executive Julie Giordano. Julie, good morning. Thanks so much for joining me. And we wanted to get, of course, your comments on yesterday's jury findings, the Austin Davidson case that you just heard in the news concerning, sadly, the loss of life of Officer Glenn Hillard last June.
Yes, hi. Yeah, thanks so much for having me, Mike. Yeah, yesterday was definitely a bittersweet day for us here in Wycomico County. The most important thing is that Austin Davidson sits behind bars, as he was convicted of killing Sheriff, Corporal Glenn Hillard in June of last year. So the jury delivered 11 separate guilty verdicts. So we were very happy with the results of yesterday's case, though.
Julie, you're out and about the community all the time. How is the community doing right now? This was a Band-Aid that was ripped off because of the trial. Once Judge Sarbanes hands down a sentence, then hopefully the healing process can continue. But how is the community doing almost a year later after something like this happened, in our own backyard?
Well, and you are right that your connection was a little fuzzy, but you were talking about the community and how they're feeling.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the community, when I see the outpour on Facebook and the text messages that I got and the messages that I got, and I think they really have just embraced and kind of wrapped their arms around the Hillard family, but also the Wycomico County Sheriff's Office and also our state's attorney. And I think it really does show, not just, but when people are, kind of outsiders looking in Wycomico County, they really see that we are a community that backs the blue. We are a community that stands by our law enforcement, and that, an outsider kind of coming into our county and committing such a horrific act is not acceptable, will never be acceptable. And it's definitely something that rocks our county to the core. And so I think Austin Davidson is feeling that right now, absolutely. And so I could not be prouder than to be the executive of this county, just knowing how much we do support our law enforcement.
What are some of the things you think that not only you maybe personally, but also the community has learned from this and can maybe get stronger from going forward as a way to honor the life of Officer Hillard?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The community, absolutely, yes. They will, as we came together, yes, we are a stronger unit. But I also think that people realize that we are not immune to that. We always, I won't say always, but a lot of times you hear about, officer killings on the other side of the bridge or in another state or whatever, but it really hit close to home. And I think people realize that we are not immune to it. And that, our community is affected. And I think the biggest thing that I learned from this is, I sat in the trial every day, and I will never be the same person. Seeing the body cam footage, seeing the autopsy photos, seeing that, and just, witnessing, what he saw that day was just unreal. And what I didn't realize is, I think you realize it, but it's the ripple effect. We knew that Tashika Hillard is going to be affected. We know his children are going to be affected. We know the sheriff's office is going to be affected. But just the amount of community members, there were witnesses that saw what happened. And these girls were, between, 19 and 25 years old, and they witnessed it. And you just know that their life is never going to be the same. They are forever changed because of what happened. And so you really see that ripple effect on how many lives were really affected by this horrific act of violence.
Well, again, we'll wait to hear what Judge Sarbanes decides to hand down as a sentence, but we certainly commend the Wycomico State's Attorney's Office and the jury for doing their job in what appeared to be a fairly clear-cut case. But we're glad that the jury saw it the way that the rest of us did. And again, we'll await the judge's sentence. But I think if we had our say, certainly, hopefully, he will not see the light of day for the rest of his life.
Yeah, absolutely. And both, Jamie Dykes, our state's attorney, and the Wycomico County Senior Assistant State's Attorney, Trish Coletta, just did an amazing story. They just did an amazing job kind of, weaving the story of what exactly happened. And, and I know that sentencing is going to, the actual, getting the sentencing is going to take, probably about 2 months. But I know that they're going for life without the possibility of parole. And we would only hope for that.
Wycomico County Executive Julie Giordano. Julie, thanks so much for joining us this morning. We do appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon down the line.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. The talk of Delmarva News Time.